Hi guys, this is Raquel with paintsandglitter.com, and today he's away camping right now and I'm gonna be missing him a lot. I hate being away from my kids, so I decided, since I'm allowed to send him a letter or a card, whatever, any correspondence, that I would make him this card because I thought it was perfect. Card cuts out 22 different pieces just to let you guys know. So I figured, you know what, this is the kind of thing that unless you see someone else make, you're probably never gonna make it. So I'm going to go ahead and just film the construction. So I'm already a minute in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show you guys what I'm going to do here. And what I did was to get an idea, I went on the Cricut.com website and looked up the handbook for Crazy Cute Cards, which is what this card is a part of. This is, you know, one of the Crazy Cute Cards for that collection. And the handbook gives you step-by-step visuals of how to put the cards together. So if you guys have difficulty following instructions on your own, if you've never made a card, I mean, you shouldn't assume that you should be able to put one together if you don't actually have instructions, if the design's not your own. So I just think that's a great resource that Cricut has available. I don't know if everyone knows about it, but I know that I resort to it if I can't wrap my head around what's being shown. So let's see here. I think this goes, nope, goes like this. And so you see, this is another reason why oh my gosh, this comes in handy, just to watch someone else make all the mistakes. I love it when people post videos of how they make things without prior planning. Those tend to be my favorite tutorials because then I see that they're just as human as I am. Okay, so this little strip here that looks like a plank of wood, this is actually going to wrap around the outside of the card at the end. But I wanted to get that done first because it's so delicate. And let's see here. So it cuts out the base, which is green, which is what you see here. Okay, and then what you do is the machine will score it for you, and then you fold it like so. So it's going to be a mountain and valley fold. And then to assemble this piece here that has the slits like a little tent opening goes on top of here. But if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that I'm supposed to put, let's see here, do I put anything behind there? I can. Actually, oh, I see. Okay, so this is where the little sleeping bag goes. This is so cool. I love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to adhere it on the trees. And this also has score lines that you can follow. And then, let's see here, I think on the bottom, because it's better to add less and then need more, right? And then on the, just on the outer edges here, because it does have a score line as to where the little tent doors open. So as I was saying, my son is in this camp, and it's an all-boy camp, an overnight camp, and they teach them biblical values on how to be a godly man. So it's really wonderful. The first time he went, I cried I think all week. I just wasn't ready to let my baby go, but he came back and said that it was such a wonderful experience for him that I said, okay, then, you know, I'll be okay with sending him again. And it's been 2 years, so okay, I just made a huge mess out of my glue. I don't know why, but I'm going to be using this oxide ink, and this color is Vintage Photo. So I'm going to go ahead and just distress the edges of some of the paper, not all of it. Just going to do this here and this one. And I hope I can get this in a short period of time here. And then these pieces of paper, because I cut them out in white, and then when I saw the finished product I thought, oh gee, I should have cut that in a different color, but it's okay. Distressing paper is fun, and I don't have to be terribly accurate or careful with this because it's going into the hands of a dirty, even though I love him, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be very dirty this week, young boy. And I like to put a little sticky on the back there, a little pop dot or whatever you call those. And I'm going to try to work with this without ruining this poor bottle. I got this wonderful nozzle, and I'm calling it wonderful even though I'm having this love-hate relationship with it, right? But, okay. Let's see here. Oops, because it's acting funny on me, but it does give me that fine line of adhesive that I need. So here's one. This is going to go here. And it does score precisely where you need to put it. So that's very, very helpful because it opens there in the center. So I'll show you that. So you'll see this folds back. And I hope that I didn't put too much adhesive. I guess I'll find out. If I'd have to do it differently, I'm okay with that. This one is supposed to go toward the center here. I'm just going to eyeball that because perfection is for someone else, not for me, even though I aim for it, right? Okay, so this is the next little tent door here. And there we go. This one will go on that side. I saw this and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the perfect image, the perfect card for this occasion. And I love it when Cricut has images like that, or you know, collections like that that I can refer to that make it so much easier for me. Alright, so I have that, and actually I think there's options here as to how you assemble this, because I don't think there's any set rules. Let me see here. Because on the image that I'm seeing online, here we go. I think it goes like this. And then this is the next layer. But it cuts out these other pieces, and I think that this is to give it variety in color as far as the images here, the shadows. So I'm winging this, so I think I want to do this panel first. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I cut this one small here because it called for gray paper for the stones, but I wanted it to shine a little, so I'm using silver. And I'm only going to add adhesive that little bit there. I'm just going to eyeball that. Okay, and so now my little stones there on that panel will be shiny. And then I do believe that these are supposed to be the panels for those trees. I think that's what they're for. And I could be completely wrong, I don't know. But it seems to me, let's see here, because this is awful small. I don't know. I'm going by the image online, and it seems to me like this. I'm confused now. I'm gonna put it here just because it fits. So I'm gonna go with this one, And I'm putting the adhesive here to make it easier. So I'm putting that panel there. And then I'm going to put the next panel, let's see here, this should be, no, it doesn't call for that, but I kind of like the way that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it there. So much for following the rules. But let's see here. I'm going to put that one there. And the reason is that's the smoke coming off of the fire. And I like the way that looks. And then I think I want to put this one here. Even though I could put it over here. I'm not going to worry about that center panel. So I'm going to put this one here. And I'm taking creative license here, I guess, right? And it's peeking out a little bit there. So you know what to do, right? You improvise, adapt, and overcome. Just like the Marines. There we go. All right. So that's going to go here. Yep, I like that. I'm going to add more adhesive here. And I'm being kind of sloppy, but I can clean it up. Because there. I just want to add more adhesive to that. And I like to just wipe off any excess on the back of my hand there, because I can always clean it off. Alright, so let's see. This is lining up nicely here. I'm going to clean my hands. Typically have a baby wipe around to get the excess adhesive off of my fingertips, because that's a sensation I don't like. Alright, so let's get this going. This is the fire, so I really like this one. I suppose you could do this if you have a Girl Scout or a female who would be receiving the card. You could maybe glitter up the fire. That would be really fun. I see a lot of possibilities for this card because I think it's really, really neat. So I'm going to put the fire here. It goes without saying, right? And then, okay. So far this is what we have. And then it's going to fold like that. So then this center panel on the back is going to get the rest of this, like so. And I'm going to add that lighter green in the center here, like I did with the other one. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that. And that little bit of glue is going to dry clear, so I'm not too worried about that. And then the papers that I'm using are, the brown is from Momenta. It's one of my favorite brands of paper because it's, I just find it to be really beautiful. It's got a nice texture also. And then the other papers are Coordinations. Also wonderful paper with a nice core to it. Just as the name implies. Let's see here. So I'm going to add that here. This goes in the center. Like that. And okay, so back to the construction of this card. I wanted to show you what I have so far. This is the front panel, the center panel with the one little tree that's a little bit lighter, and then this is going to be the back, and this is the front with the little doors here that open up to what's going to be the sleeping bag. Although, because of the way that this paper folds, because it's quite thick, I'm not quite sure if I'm going to add the sleeping bag there or not. I'm undecided on that, but it does cut out a sleeping bag, so I'm going to show you how to assemble that. And this is going to be 3 pieces of paper. I decided to go with red for the inside because my son's sleeping bag right now is red. And then it cuts out these 2 pieces that are for the outside. And then this is the little sleeping bag element. So I'm going to layer this first. And I'll just apply adhesive on here. And I mean, this sleeping bag element alone could be a really cool card just on its own. If, again, if you're doing like troop gifts, because this will fit, if you make it the right size, it will fit a gift card. So this goes here. Actually, no it doesn't. It goes here. Sorry about that. So that'll go here on top. Okay. So I'm going to apply adhesive here. And this all scores with this short tab, and long tab will fold backward, and I'll show you why. And then this little corner here gets scored at that angle and then folds forward, and I'll show you how that works too. So that goes here like so. I'm gonna just clean that up. And I love interactive cards. I love receiving them and giving them, so I thought this was just perfect. So I'm gonna adhere this red paper directly on here. Although I think it's kind of bulky, come to think of it. So, because this also folds the same way, and the idea is to make this double-sided, but because my paper is so thick, I think I'm going to cut off what I don't need. And I mean, you could do it this way, you don't have to. But I don't need these tabs because this is purely for looks. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this, or I mean adhere it, and I'm going to put adhesive all on here. So this will go here, and I'm sorry if I just moved the camera. And I can use the bone folder to make sure that this is nice and adhered. And then, like I said, I like to keep a baby wipe handy to clean off any excess adhesive. And typically it doesn't even show when I wipe it off the paper. Okay, because the idea is that this is going to fold over. But if you do it too soon, of course, it can fall apart on you. And now I have little fuzzies all over the place, but it's going to give that authentic outdoorsy feel to the paper. So I'm even going to distress it with whatever ink is left on there. And I'm going to go ahead and do that here too, because this is for a boy. So it barely added ink to it, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure that I really reinforce that. And then this here, once you fold it, so it folds toward the inside like so, okay? And then it's going to fold in like that. You see? So I'm going to add adhesive here, although, you know, come to think of it, I think on here I want to add double-sided adhesive because it's going to make it easier to adhere, and it's gonna, I think it'll provide a stronger hold with a dry adhesive. So not every type of you know, card can be done with wet adhesive because of the nature of the paper. If, sometimes if you use the wet adhesive, you're going to just create a big old mess. This would be one of those cases. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the double-sided adhesive. This is going to fold on the inside, and there we go. It makes it a lot easier, and I suppose I could have done the same for that, but it did need that little bit of give for the fold. And I'm just reinforcing that again. And this paper has a white core, so it's going to be really distressed the more that I reinforce it. So I'm better off, you know, doing less rather than more. So there's that. I really like it because then I can slide, you know, a little bit of money in there, even though I left them with plenty to spend. But so the idea is that this slides then, of course, in the little tent. How cool is that? It goes in here. I really like this. It goes in there, and then it slides out. I really like this. I think it's so great. So here's what I did. I went ahead and for the this I don't know what you would call it, the piece of wood that wraps around, okay, that long piece of wood that we adhered first, that wraps around the card. So what I did was on the back I adhered with the same glue. I went ahead and added twine, or baker's twine if you want to call it that. And now for my card to be complete, all I have to do is tie this, and I'm gonna see if, yep, this will work like that. And I guess it'll tie on the back. And if not, because the other option would be to make it a slider, which I don't know. I don't know if he would want to do it that way. That would be another option, though, is to make it a slider. So I may do that. You know, I'm not quite sure. I guess that's another option, is to just make it adhere these two little branches together and make it so it slides off. Giving it a little room there so that it can slide off. I think I like that idea better. So I'm just going to adhere it there. And then I'll hold it for just a couple of seconds because this glue dries permanently pretty quick. I forgot to mention the envelope, so I wanted to let you know that this does cut out an envelope in two separate parts. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that one together as well. I might as well while I have it here. So it'll fold like this, and it will just call for adhesive on this side here, and I think I'm going to use the dry adhesive there as well, just to make it easier. And I'm going to put this, I guess this type of flap you could put on the inside or the outside. I don't know if there's an actual rule for that, but here goes. Just going to go ahead and take the backing paper off. I always feel like this is so hard to take off, and I don't know why, but it should come off. There we go. And again, this is double-sided adhesive. I order mine online. If you have any questions on that, I can tell you how to save a lot of money on this type of adhesive. But okay, so this will go here and reinforce it like so. And then what I like to do, of course, is to put the card in first, and there's plenty of room for that, and then fold it over so that I can gauge where I want to put my adhesive. And on here. You could use wet or dry adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 strips of the dry. And yes, I do leave the card in there because again, I want to make sure that that it's going to fit properly. And you can do it either down here or up on the flap. The important thing is that you don't glue it too far down. Oops. So that it has the opportunity to, you know, to leave room for the card. You don't want to get the adhesive on the card, obviously, after all that hard work, right? So, there we go. I'm going to take that off. And I'm working fast here for the sake of the video, but normally I'd be a bit more gentle with all of these things. And there we go. So now I'm going to be gentle in how I fold that, just because I don't want it to be too tight for the card. So that way I can slip it in and out really easily, no problem. Okay, so there's my envelope. It matches perfectly. I'll be able to send this out, have a little surprise in there, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed week. Take care. Bye-bye.